From one great team to another, and guess what, Justin? We're going to another. I think one of the best stories that's not talked about right now is the fact that Delaware has just stepped into college football like it's nothing. They just stepped into FBS. They kind of struggled a little bit last year, um, and then they just jump up to FBS and they're like, "Yeah, surprise, we're here. We had Joe Flacco. He's elite. Remember?" Um, so the Blue Hens, Justin, what do you got to say about them?
Yeah, this has been like they are on a James Madison level, like jump to FBS, where they just come in, barge through the door, and are just immediate contenders. That is what this team is. And it's kind of funny because I noticed a lot of people have not caught on to that yet. Because every opponent they, other than like the opener against Delaware State, which by the way, shout out to Deshaun Jackson and Delaware State for being 3-1 right now. Outside of that, every FBS opponent they played has been so frustrated with their team afterwards. Like they literally sent Colorado into like a quarterback like fiasco there for a little bit. Like Colorado didn't know who their quarterback was because they struggled against Delaware. They're like, oh, this team just moved up and we struggle against them, so now we have a problem. And they actually may have not have had as much of a problem as everyone thought because it turns out Delaware is actually pretty good. Then they beat UConn. UConn is a very solid team. Like UConn nearly beat Syracuse, and of course you look at what Syracuse did to Clemson this past weekend. Um, and then they take down FIU. FIU is just off the Shula Bowl win. Like FIU fans were just on an extreme high, and then this game happens and they're all down
Reality check.
afterwards. But I don't think it was a reality check. I think the only reality is that Delaware is really good. And then, like, if they were eligible to win Conference USA, I would say that they would be a top contender to win that conference. As it is, they're going to be really good. Like, I definitely see a minimum of 8 wins for the Blue Hens this year now.
That's what one of our comments says by 5 Speed. He said, strong contender to win the Conference USA. And it popped in like immediately before you said that. It's like when we watch NASCAR and we say something, and then immediately after we say something, the announcer says the same thing.
Oh, now I know what it's like to be in the announcer seat.
Yeah. You're behind the 8 ball, Justin. Um, there's been a few predictions thrown out there at the beginning of the season that had the Mormons taking a step back. And it looked like for a minute they were. But Justin, you may have different thoughts on that.
Yeah, I am going to begin my pushback of that because I think a lot of people are saying that BYU is going to struggle once they get to conference play. BYU is going to struggle throughout the year because they'll have Jake Retzlaff anymore. But Bear Bachmeyer is actually doing a good job managing this team. I say managing this team because he's not really making a lot of like killer mistakes or anything, and he's just doing his job there. He doesn't have to do a whole lot because guess what? This team is ridiculous up front. And that is why I was high on BYU entering the year. Because I knew that this is a physical team up there, and they look even better than I thought. Their defense is like, even though adjusted for opponent, like I think their defense is number one in like a ton of categories. They aren't letting teams run the ball at all, just smothering run games. And then the offensive line's doing a good job up front. LJ Martin is one of the better running backs in the Big 12. This team is they're doing the things that aren't flashy, but the things that win football games.
You
And
know what
that's
else
why I
wins
really like
football
this team a lot.
games?
Yeah.
The trenches. The trenches
Oh
win
yeah.
football games. And that's why BYU is so high in our book. I mean, like, you can have a lack of skill position players, but if you have blocking, you could almost get the ball anywhere you want if no one's coming through. On the flip side, on defense, if you have bigger, meatier men and they are stopping the run and getting after the quarterback, I mean, like, you almost don't need a secondary. I mean, they got all of that. They're a solid team. They're very underrated, and I think not only they're underrated because, like, they're new to the Power Four scene, still. But the Big 12 is just slept on. Like, nobody has any Big 12 team really competing at that high of a level. And BYU is like, here we are.